I'm often asked what my favorite candy is, and this is it. This is my ham candy for the Thanksgiving assortment. Here at Lofty Pursuits and Public Displays of Confection in Tallahassee, Florida. I'm Greg, and I gotta tell you, making something that tastes great and is a little magical and puts a smile on your face, this is what makes this job so wonderful. When I poured the candy, it already had the flavoring in it. And I'm pouring it on our candy cooling table to cool it rapidly, but before it cools, I need to add my food coloring. And I need to do this now so I can boil off all the water in the food coloring. While the candy looks like it's a liquid that's filled with water, it's really just molten sugar, and I gotta get this water out of the candy before the candy becomes sticky. And the coloring's important. I talked about the Stroop effect in the past, where you taste with your eyes before you taste with your mouth. And in this case, I telegraph that this is ham. And then you pop it in your mouth, and you go, oh my God, this is ham. From the image of a ham hock, to the flavor, to the color, everything ties together, and you're still shocked that it tastes so much like a ham. I knew the flavor was good. But it wasn't until last year, and we've made this flavor for a couple of years, that I got a letter from somebody who's a fan of ours who happens to work for Smithfield Foods, the maker of Smithfield hams. Dear Lofty Pursuits family, just wanted to tell you, working for Smithfield Foods, I know a thing or two on hams. However, I'm not a huge candy fan. So when I ordered your candy on a whim after watching YouTube, I thought, I work with a bunch of engineers who will eat anything, if I don't like it. You guys nailed the Virginia ham flavor candy nearly as good as Grandma's real ham. But we won't start a family argument. Glad I acted on a whim and bought it. Things like this are also what makes this job so much fun. This part is transparent amber and we need to make it white. And we're going to do that by putting it on our candy pulling machine. I like this machine. Jake, on the other hand, refers to it as the mangler. You know, I can respect that. But I'm loading this on and it's going to start folding the candy and pulling it again and again. And every time it does that, it's going to trap thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of air bubbles. Eventually, there'll be millions of air bubbles in this candy, and it will all reflect white. And as you watch this process, you'll see the candy slowly going whiter and whiter. And it does this because each of those air bubbles act as a convex or concave mirror reflecting light. They take the light around us and they randomize it, and it comes out white. And that's beautiful, but it's also great for the flavor because it creates more surface area, so when you put this candy in your mouth, the ham flavor comes to town. And remember, this is a candied ham. I'm going to have two shades of opaque pink. One is going to be for the center of the ham bone, because of course, it's a ham. It needs a ham bone. And the other is going to be for the meat of the ham, which is of course a lighter pink. I'm going to start by making the center of the bone, and then to make the bone itself, I'm going to use some clear candy that I saved. I'm going to put a wrap around it. The reason I'm using clear and not white is light will shine in from the clear and reflect out the ham bone. It'll make it pop. If I used pulled white, everything would sort of blend together smoothly. And this is a useful technique if you want to make a fuzzy effect, say feathers on an Easter chick. But it's not useful right now because I want a clear delineated line between the bone and the flesh of the ham. The flesh of the ham is going to be a little bit bigger a piece than the inside of the bone, so I'm going to go over to the hook to blend a little less red in with a little more white to get a lighter pink, to create two contrasting tones. If you want to go into a deeper dive about candy, Lofty Pursuits marketing, and just me in general, we have a podcast also called Lofty Pursuits that comes out every Tuesday, and you can get it wherever you download podcasts. The color I just pulled for the flesh of the ham is going to go around the bone. And I love calling it flesh because although this tastes just like a ham, it's actually vegan. Now for the brown outside of the ham. I think we're actually making a picnic here. I think that's the name of the cut. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you'll correct me in the comments. But I'm going to make this out of a brown. I'm going to do the same thing to create a light brown that I did to create a pink. And I'm going to go back to the hook, and I'm going to blend in the brown with the white. It's getting harder now as the candy gets cooler. People regularly ask me why we don't make a turkey candy, and the answer is twofold. One, my grandmother made ham for Thanksgiving, and it's a memory of mine that I'm sharing with you. And two, we've never made it taste good, and this candy has to taste spectacular. I mean, candied ham is a thing, which means ham candies can also be a thing. We're going to make the outside of the brown ham with just a piece of solid brown candy. A thin piece stretched on top. But if you notice in here, there's a little bit of the center bone left in the middle of the heating table. We're going to get back to that later. And then we're going to attach the outside of the ham to the inside, and then pat it with white to space it out from the outer wrap of the candy. I made too much of the center bone, and I'm going to make that good because I don't want to get rid of this perfectly good candy. I've kept it warm, and I'm going to combine it with the brown wrap, and it's going to become stripes, sort of a candy maker's secret. You can always make stripes out of too much of something you made before, and sometimes it's better to make too much than too little. We have one giant piece that we have to take down into thousands of little pieces, and we do this by putting a taper on this. I pinch one end, and I slowly start the taper, and then I pick it up and let gravity do the rest, making it into roughly the shape of a baseball bat, as a little child in front of me said. And then I'm going to put it on the batch roller, which will keep it spinning and keep it round, and will make the next step easier. This is the trick, and this is done entirely by touch. We scale it down, but we don't distort the image. That big image becomes a little image. It becomes sharper just because of proportional change. And we end up making rods of these things. And of course, the rods have to be cut into bite-sized pieces. The ham tastes like ham candy. It's good and you'll love it. And the image is great, but it's only one part of our assortment. And that assortment is what's wonderful. It has cranberry in it. It has dressing in it. It has peach cobbler. Go to www.pd.net and see our flavor selection and try either our Thanksgiving feast or our Thanksgiving leftover candies. Please remember to subscribe here on YouTube and ring the bell for alerts. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Get our candy at www.pd.net. Listen to our podcast. Become a Patreon. Or if you're ever on I-10 near Tallahassee, stop by. We're right off the Thomasville Road exit of I-10. We make candy a lot. We don't make it all the time, but if you're lucky, you'll catch us and see us in person. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.